Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a fabulous Friday. I am here and eager to catch up, say hello, and talk about fat loss, which is like, so many people have that questions about fat loss. I'm cleaning my glasses because they're blurry. But before I hop on, I'd like to say hello, catch up, see how you guys are doing. I've been really busy this week. Back to school week in Florida. Although little man is starting next week for his schooling, but we've been dealing with a lightning strike on our property, so that was new. It didn't hit the house. It hit in the backyard by the shed, pool, patio area. But so we've been managing that, which like homeowner insurance claim, all the things you do as a homeowner. So that's been new and exciting. And I don't say that sarcastically. Like, I like learning about how to do things as an adult, like different things. So it's been exciting to learn new things. And then going back to school, what else? Oh, last week I was at the 034 Yoga for First Responders Instructor School in Mesa, Arizona. So that was really fun. I don't get to talk about that too much, but essentially I've been working with this nonprofit since my instructor school, which certified me as one of their teachers back in 2018, 010. So it was like their 10th instructor school. This one was their 34th. But I've now been to 10 instructor schools teaching the trainer. So now I'm one of the people teaching people to become instructors and trainers, which is really cool. I absolutely love doing it. I love educating about health and wellness, specifically in populations that I'm really passionate about. First responders, military, and medical professionals are part of that community that I'm really passionate about. So being able to travel nationally and hopefully internationally, we have possibly one in like Australia and UK coming up, is really cool to like meet people and like make a difference in their lives. So I really enjoyed that last week. But I am happy to be back. Happy to be back here talking with you guys. I know Coach Kelsey cooked last week and you guys enjoyed that really well. Really enjoyed that really well. Yeah, that works. Making her desserts. So we're definitely going to bring back the Cooking with Coach Kelsey. I had a lot of requests to make sure that we have that on like a monthly basis. So we will get that back on the agenda for September. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, I think that's everything going on with me. What's been going on with you guys? Anything new, exciting, scary, fun? Anything you'd want to share, put it in the comments. And other than that, we're gonna get started with talking about fat loss. Now, again, as I said on the last time I was on here, I need to replace my laptop. So yes, I'm aware that there's this little black tunnel here. My screen's cracked and I have to get the screen replaced. So thank you for those who let me know that it's broken. I have to schedule a time with the computer doctor to get that fixed. But anyway, with that being said, we don't need a perfect screen to talk about fat loss. So we're gonna dive right in. So today we are going to talk about how to kickstart a fat loss journey. So like there's essentially two phases of a fat loss journey. There's getting it started, and then there's maintaining it, and from there going into maintenance once you get to the goal that you're at. And depending on where you are, depends on which one you think is more difficult to succeed in. A lot of people in the beginning of their journey feel like the beginning of their journey is the hardest part to build momentum in, build consistency in, that self-efficacy, self-confidence in, while others feel that kind of coming out of fat loss, once you build that momentum, and then going into maintenance of learning how to, okay, I lost the weight I wanted to, now I have to figure out how to maintain this for indefinitely, because we don't want to, diet yo-yo and weight yo-yo. So now I have to learn how to maintain this in my lifestyle. A lot of people say that's the most difficult part of fat loss journey. So today we're going to talk about that beginning part, the building momentum, the building the discipline, the building consistency, and just kind of the foundation tips and tricks of what I recommend in terms of having a solid foundation as you kickstart your fat loss journey. So with that being said, whether you're beginning to just start your fat loss journey, or maybe you're coming back to your fat loss journey and you're looking to maybe refine your approach, this session is going to be packed with information on nutrition, supplements, workouts, and as well as things like habit trackers, how to figure out how many calories, macros you need, all those fun things. So stay tuned and stay here. And by the end, you guys will be equipped with the tools you need to drop the weight steadily, boost your strength, and enhance your overall health, which is the goal for all of us, right? So with that being said, first thing is we're going to focus on strength first. So you want to make sure you have a solid foundation in strength. Now, as you begin to shed pounds, our daily calorie burn tends to decrease. However, by building more muscle and strength, we can maintain and even increase our calorie burn, helping us achieve sustainable fat loss. Now, for other reasons, it's also important in terms of resistance training or strength training. Those on medications like Ozempic and things like that, resistance training as well as protein intake are like the top two things that you have to do, because people who do drastic weight loss or drastic fat loss also see a decrease in muscle loss or muscular skeletal tissue, and from there can lead to like bone deficiencies like sarcopenia, things of that nature. So resistance training not only is going to help you with your metabolism, but it's also going to keep you strong, but it's also going to prevent future diseases and injuries as well. So resistance training, strength training is like number one important thing when it comes to creating a solid foundation in fat loss. And for example, the reference I'm using for these tips and tricks it's called our Phoenix Embers program. So it's a 4-week fat loss initiation program based on the Phoenix, because we do everything fantasy based. So if you hear me reference the Phoenix program at all, that's what I'm pulling all of these tips and tricks from. So we talked about strength. Now let's talk about nutrition. So for nutrition, a lot of people think when they are starting a fat loss program, and this could technically be a weight gain program too, that they need like dull, tasteless, like chicken, no salt, no seasoning, maybe a little bit of rice and broccoli, or maybe no rice, just chicken and broccoli, and like that's all they're allowed to eat, and salads and tuna packets, and like bad protein shakes. I feel like that's what everyone thinks of, and that is definitely not the key to success, and unless you like those things, because managing fat loss is about enjoying what you're eating, and being able to be successful and consistent and disciplined in fat loss is about enjoying the process. So by having dull, tasteless meal plans, you're not going to enjoy the process. So, and as well, the more variety, the more color you have in the diet, the more spices you put in, you're also going to be able to manage your energy levels. I was going to say better. So the goal is to whip up delicious, diverse, nourishing meals that you actually look forward to eating. And personally, we as in BMC recommend you find healthy meals, like a few healthy meals that you like, and kind of stick to it, whether you rotate every other week between maybe 2 or 3 meals if you want to keep it really simple, or maybe you rotate where you find 2 or 3 meals a week and you have like an A, B, C, D week, and every month you rotate and you then rotate again. But overall, finding just a few staple meals that like you're like, okay, I like these meals, maybe like a salmon and a chicken breast meal and a chicken thigh meal and a pork meal and a steak meal, and then you just rotate through those, has more research-based evidence showing success than trying to change it up all the time with new recipes and new meal plans and new meal prep companies. Like, finding something that works and sticking to it is your best way to success when it comes to your nutrition side of fat loss. Now, with that being said, if you want to invest in like a grocery delivery meal prepping company where like HelloFresh, where they send the groceries to you and tell you what to cook, that's always good too, because it also takes the thought out of it, which is the whole point, is making it more enjoyable for you. Or they have meal prepping companies where they actually prepare the whole meal and you just got to throw it in the microwave and heat it up to eat it. Now, just be careful with both of these options in terms of when the food is prepared, they have to put sodium in it to keep it sustainable. So it's used as a preservative. So if you have a sodium levels that you're trying to watch, a lot of these pre-prepped meals where you just throw it in the microwave can have anywhere between 600 to 800 milligrams of sodium. And a lot of people recommend that you stay between 15 to 2,000 a day. So that's almost a third to half, depending on your calorie intake for the day. So just be careful of the sodium intake. Now, for example, you can also work with like a nutrition coach or a holistic coach and use their meal recipe packs. So for our Phoenix Embers program, we include the lean muscle recipe pack. So that has a sample meal plan that has over almost 20 recipes in it, shopping lists to tell you exactly what to buy for the recipes so you don't have to figure it out, as well as the specific recipes with instructions, with pre-calculated calories, pre-calculated macros. So all you have to do is open the recipe pack and say, okay, I'm gonna eat this one this week, and then go food shopping and follow along, which is nice because, again, it takes the thought out of it. But no matter what, no matter which one you're doing, whether you're making your own meal plan, whether you're following a nutritionist meal plan, whether you're buying a meal prep company, you want to start by calculating your personalized calories and macronutrient intake. Now, in our programs and in our memberships, we show you either how to do this on like the DIY style, or we do it for you, depending on the level. But there's also lots of resources out there that you can do it on your own if you wanted to. But I recommend you aim to stay within 5% of your recommended macro and calorie breakdown each day. So that be like a 5% above or below that you want to stay in consistently to build that consistency. I don't commit personally, even to this day, I still track my food, and I don't commit to hitting the number exactly every day. That's not realistic and just too much pressure as an adult who has to deal with things like the beginning of school and running a business and lightning striking in the back of my property. So 5% leeway on whatever macro and calorie goals you set for yourself. And then from there, so we talked about strength training, we talked about nutrition, we talked about how to, and the importance of tracking nutrition. Now, when it comes to actually training, like what type of training should you be doing? So realistically, if you're doing this on your own, any types of resistance or strength-based training that you're going to commit yourself to will work. Like, you just want to do something that you're going to stick to. So if you don't like going to the gym and you don't like weightlifting, like weights, barbells, dumbbells, stuff like that, then don't do that. If you don't like going for runs, then don't do that. If you don't like calisthenics, gymnastics, yoga, then don't do that. You want to find something that you like and stick to it. For example, like our Phoenix Embers program has 4 days of weight training. It's circuit-based, so it includes things like weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, tires, ropes, like the kind of like boot camp style. And then it has 2 days of rest. Well, not rest, low intensity. And then 1 day of rest, which is like mobility and myofascial release, which is like bone rolling, things like that. But overall, it should be simple, but yet effective. Again, with all of this, just like nutrition, simple is effective. Simple will get you consistent results, and consistent results will build that self-efficacy, which will give you motivation to stay disciplined. What else we got? Okay, so when it comes to tracking your progress, so we talked about nutrition, we talked about strength training, what to do for strength training. So when you're tracking your progress, as I said, you want to make sure that you have your calories and macros, but you want to make sure when you, and I've said this before on some of these nutrition-based lives, when you start tracking, just track what you eat first to get a baseline. So like whether it's the first week, whether it's the first 1 to 3 days, you just want to track your food to see how you eat, because a lot of people will come in with these different diets. Like, for example, say you're like a snacker or a grazer, where like you eat small meals, like 5 small meals every 2 to 3 hours. And you're like, oh, I'm going to intermittent fast where I'm only going to eat, 2 big meals at the end of the day. Well, that's not realistic for what you're currently doing in your lifestyle. Or on the opposite spectrum, say you don't eat 5 meals 2 to 3 hours spread out throughout the day, and you are more of like you do a whole bunch of work in the hospital and you don't have time to eat, so then you eat a lot at the end of the day. Well, maybe you want to look at fasting. So this is why it's important to just track in the beginning to get a baseline of where your nutrition is. And then from there, you can adjust, can't talk this Friday, adjust your intake to align with your fat loss goals and the calories and the macros that you calculated or had calculated for you, depending on if you're working with us or by yourself. And a little tip is, if you're consistently hitting your target daily calories and macro goals but are not seeing progress, it may be time to make some small adjustments. And for sustainable fat loss, I do recommend that you aim for no more than 1 to 2 pounds weight per week. Typically, anything over than that isn't recommended in terms of healthy fat loss and sustainable fat loss, because although we can make it drop off fast, you have to keep it off however you lose it. And that's like my biggest takeaway for fat loss or muscle gain. However you get the job done is what you have to do to keep those results. So if you do something drastic where you're going to burn 40 pounds in 30 days, whatever you did to get those 40 pounds off, you have to continue doing to keep it off. So keep that in mind with the decisions you're making during your fat loss journey. That's like, if anything, take that away. That's like so important and so pivotal. Okay, we talked about tracking. Oh, I wanted to mention briefly a couple supplement recommendations, because a lot of people have questions about supplements when they get on their fat loss journey. So we talked about nutrition, so kind of continuing under that header. For supplements, some key ones that I recommend, if you want to use them, again, these are supplement, so they're supplementary, so we still have to have a healthy diet. Supplements won't work if you're not having a healthy diet as a basis. But some things that you could use to help your healthy diet include things like protein powders, whether it may be a whey protein or a plant protein powder. With the plant proteins, I definitely recommend, I made that one word, trying a plant protein powder that is a blend. If you do something like a rice protein or chickpea, or I'm just thinking, something pea protein, and you just have a separate, you're not going to get the full amino acid profile that you need. So you want to make sure you're keeping it as a plant protein blend. From there, multivitamins are always important. There's so much research out there that we're just not getting the vitamins and minerals we need nowadays from our food. With that being said, also omega-3s are really important as well. If you can get an omega-3 supplement for a healthy heart, as well as muscle recovery and fat loss. And as well, you can also do things like during workout drinks, so such as essential amino acids or EAAs, which are good for high intensity workouts that are over 60 minutes long. But as I said, remember, these are supplementary, so you still need to have a healthy, balanced diet. Now, with that being said, final tips for success. So I was talking about the tracking. So tracking. You won't have a basis to understand what results you're getting if you don't keep track of if you don't keep track of anything. I won't say everything, but anything. If you have no way of understanding where you started or the strategies you're using, you won't be able to tell where you're going. It's like going to the doctor and them never doing blood work on you and never taking your weight and never taking your height. They're not going to know anything about you. So it's the same thing with your health journey. You need to make sure that you're writing these things down, so then in 4 weeks, when you're like, I lost 5 pounds, or I lost no weight, you can say, okay, well, what did I do? Okay, so what do I change? So tracking is so important, whether it's using a habit tracker for your habits like water intake and sleep, or it's a nutrition tracker for your macros and your calories, or a workout tracker to track your workouts to make sure you see which days you're doing strength training, which days you're resting, low intensity, and so forth. That's my first final tip for success. Track your stuff. From there, consistency is key. So stick with your plan. So you're tracking, you're sticking with your plan, and don't get discouraged because progress may seem slow, but that's part of the journey. Like I said, however you lose it is how you're gonna have to stick to it to keep it off. From there, I mentioned a little briefly, make sure you have good sleep, make sure you have good recovery. So aim for 6 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night, and give yourself time to wind down before you go to sleep, so that when you do go to sleep, you get quality sleep during that time. And also stay flexible, and not like bendy flexible, but flexible with your life, because life happens. So don't see messing up in the diet or the program or the strength program as a failure. Life happens, things happen, we're adults, lightning literally strikes, and we have to adjust and adapt the routine. And being adaptable is part of the process, especially coming years out of this now. I mean, I've gone on weight loss journeys, I've gone on muscle bulk journeys, I've gone on muscle recovery journeys in terms of working on aches and pains and making my body more balanced and stable. And the biggest thing I have to take away from all of this is I'm not doing the same thing I did last year, and I'm not doing the same thing I did from the year before that, because my life changes. So I have to adapt my strategies for what life is in front of me that I'm currently living. So those are my tips and tricks. That's my evidence-based practice for building a strong foundation for beginning a fat loss journey or restarting a fat loss journey. If you are ready to take the next step and maybe you want some guidance, as I said, we have the Phoenix Embers 4-week fat loss initiation program. So it is everything I talked about, the strength training workouts, core workouts, as well as the lean muscle recipe pack and habit trackers, meal plans, shopping list, recipes, your calories, macros, all calculated for you, as well as our habit tracker starting kit that tracks your food, your workouts, and your metrics, all for $13 one time. That's it. And it's all handed to you in a nice pretty package, and you can do it from either your home or go to the gym or whatever you want to do. So if you want more information about that, I'm going to put the link in the comment section. Other than that, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. It's been lovely catching up with you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and that is all I have. Have a fantastic day, and let's keep slaying and crushing our goals.